Hey everyone, welcome to episode 12 of Otome.
I'm Vki.
And I'm Vka.
And we are sisters who play Otome games.
Thanks for joining us today on a holiday. It's 4th of July for us in the United States, so happy 4th to everyone in the US, and wherever you are in the world, we hope you're having a great time. Let's go over what today's topic is.
This is the first installation of our mini-series, Reviews in Twos. We will be reviewing Otome games that we've played together by discussing them in 2 episodes. The first episode will be a spoiler-free overview of our opinions, and the second will be more of a reaction episode with heavy spoilers. Today will be a spoiler-free episode on Caller Times Malice. But first, Vka, who are you doing this week?
Who I'm doing this week is Mitsuhide from Ikemen Sengoku. So I remember saying last time that I wasn't very interested in him, and now I am very interested in him. I think I'm learning to love him, and that's all I'll say.
That's all you'll say?
Yeah, that's all I'll say for now.
Because spoilers?
Because spoilers. And this is a spoiler-free episode, so no spoilers. What about you?
So I am still playing Piofiore Episodio 1926, but I have gone on to Gilbert Redford's route, Gil's route. And I am very excited because Gil is actually one of my favorite characters in the game. I think he is the bee's knees.
Oh, nice! Very 1920s.
And I'm having a grand old time with it. He's hilarious. He's really funny. So I'm just having a great time and very much enjoying the route and spending time with Gil.
Yes. What I've heard from you about Gil, I very much enjoy.
Well, then you should play Piofiore.
I can't wait to try. I have it on my backlog. So our general opinion of Caller Times Malice is that if you like damaged men and crime novels, this is the game for you. Caller Times Malice is set in modern Shinjuku, and the main character that you follow is a woman named Ichika Hoshino. Ichika is a police officer for the Shinjuku police station, and she basically does... Vki, can you describe what her job is?
She's a community liaison officer in the game. In the English version, they call it SRCPO, and I just pronounce that as CircPo, but that makes Vka angry, so I can't do that in this episode. She also lives with her younger brother, Kazuki.
Yes, they live by themselves in Shinjuku. Their parents don't live nearby. And she's kind of young.
She's 21.
She's only 21, and her brother's still in high school. So she's basically raising her brother while trying to be a police officer.
Yeah. And what happens in the beginning, the whole overview plot of this is that right now Shinjuku has been shut down because a terrorist organization has been committing horrendous crimes and the police can't figure it out. So what the government decided to do is they quarantined Shinjuku off and they gave all of the citizens guns. I'm still not quite sure about,
why they thought this was a good idea?
Yeah, it's for protection, but I don't think it was a great idea.
Yeah, the idea behind it, I suppose, is that they really wanted people to be able to protect themselves if they were faced with danger. But it just turns out that people use the guns that they've gotten from the government to be assholes.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, like shitty teenagers and people with vendettas.
Yeah, so everyone is really upset and scared. So what happens at the beginning is Ichika responds to a police call out. She goes to a potential scene of a crime. She gets knocked out, and when she wakes up, she has a collar, a literal collar that has been put around her neck. And a voice is coming out of the collar, and it turns out that this terrorist organization, Adonis, is the one that has put the collar around her neck. And they tell her that they're listening to her, they know who she is, there's poison in the collar, they can kill her at any time if she tells anyone about the collar.
They explicitly mention that she should not tell the police that this has happened to her, but they also say they want her to investigate and find out who's behind Adonis.
Yeah, they want her to find out who they are and why they're doing what they're doing, and they call her a potential sympathizer, which she doesn't understand at all. So what ends up happening is she gets involved with this detective agency that's made from some former police officers, and those end up being the LIs, and they go off and investigate Adonis and try to figure out what the heck is going on.
Yep. That's basically the setup for the game. I mean, if you're really interested in, like I said, crime novels, like, it's really, really interesting to go through and investigate what happened in previous crimes, learn about specific suspects that have committed crimes, figure out kind of untangle the web that Adonis has laid out for the police and, I guess, for Ichika herself.
It is. It's really complicated. There are a lot of twists and turns. It's one of those games where you don't figure out what's going on until you've completed every single route.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I really love those games.
I do too, yeah.
It keeps you interested.
It does. And it's not a cookie cutter at all. Like, you don't know what's going to happen, and every route is not the same overarching storyline. Each ally's route has their own piece to investigate. So you're not going through a general story with each ally. You're going through and learning more about that ally, learning more about that person's backstory as you experience the route. And that's really nice.
Yeah, but I think one of the things that really makes this game great is Ichika herself.
Yes, Ichika as a main character is really impressive because there are very few MCs that I can really relate to and understand their decision making. She's not a Yui, guys.
No, I mean, she's a police officer. She has a job. She's a working adult. She's very smart. She's a green police officer, and that's made clear. And she knows that. She knows that she's green. She knows that she's young, but she loves what she does, and she's good at what she does. And she's not stupid. Like, she makes really good decisions. And she's also very stubborn, which I love. She doesn't.
It shows that she has personality.
Yeah, she doesn't let the allies walk all over her.
Another thing I like is that the game gives you the opportunity to experience her relationships outside of the main love interests. Like, she has a younger brother that she lives with, and that whole storyline is really important to the game. Like, her becoming close to her brother, or learning more about him and what he likes and what he does. That's really fun. Yeah, I think Kazuki's a great character. Like, he's not a main character, but he's really, really great because he provides a lot of...
He's a grumpy hormonal teenager.
Yeah, he's a grumpy hormonal teenager. That is true. Back to Ichika and her relationship with the allies. One thing that I really like about her is that her relationship with every person is a little bit different. And the way she interacts with them is also a little bit different.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. The relationship dynamic actually makes a difference with how she behaves. And I really like that because in actual life, you don't react to every single person the same way.
Yes, that is very true. I react to you very differently from the way I would react to a stranger on the street.
Exactly. So, yeah, Ichika's one of my favorites.
Yeah. So, we're going to be talking about the allies in the same order as we played the routes, and this is actually the order that we recommend playing them in, and we'll talk about why that is at the end. So the first ally is Enomoto Mineo.
Yeah, we started with him first. And when I first started his route, I was really excited. I really like his character design. But to be honest, he's a little bit too innocent for my taste.
He's notoriously a virgin.
Yes, he's notoriously a virgin. One thing that's really funny is the fact that all of the other allies know that he has this book on his bookshelf about how to fall in love and pick up women. It's a running joke through the game. It's so funny because he's a virgin and he doesn't know how to interact with women.
He doesn't. He really doesn't. But he's super romantic. He has this idealized version of, like, the way romance should go, and he wants a girlfriend, but he doesn't know how to talk to people. He's also a huge history fanboy.
Yeah.
Like, which is probably something that maybe scares some potential love interests off from him, because he is such a huge fan of Date Masamune that he wears a fake eye patch.
I am also a Date Masamune fanboy. Fangirl. Fan whatever.
Do you wear a fake eye patch?
I don't, but I love Date Masamune.
I know you do.
Yeah. He's cute. Date Masamune is cute, but I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about Mineo Enomoto. Mineo is actually, he's really cute. I dig the eye patch. I do. Yeah. I don't mind it.
The other thing about Mineo is that he is very, very excitable.
Yes. The beginning of his relationship with Ichika is a little bit tense, but once she gets to know him, he provides a lot of comic relief.
They kind of go, whoa, together.
Yeah, exactly. It's really cute. He also gets bullied by the other allies in the game, which I feel so bad about, but it's really funny.
He's a really easy target.
He is a really easy target. He's always the guy who has to go out and get donuts for Takeru.
Who we will talk about next.
Yes, who we will talk about next.
Yeah. But basically, so Enomoto Mineo, he's cute, his route was interesting, but honestly, he just really wasn't my type.
Mm-hmm. In terms of storyline, though, I thought it was a good intro to get to know what's happening with Adonis.
Yes,
because
I agree.
you don't learn that much in his route, but it gets you trying to figure out the mindset of the criminals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I completely agree, because that's a really important part of the plot to really understand, like, why Adonis is doing what they're doing.
Yeah, so overall, what do you think about Mineo?
I think that if you like, fluffy, cute, a little bit innocent, then you'll like him.
Yes. I mean, I thought he was cute, but he just isn't my type.
Yeah, same here. Cute, but not my type.
Yeah. I will tell you who is my type, though. And that's the next person we're going to talk about. Sasazuka Takeru.
Sasazuka Takeru.
Yes.
So, Vka, what do you think of Sasazuka Takeru?
I think Takeru is kind of like a Sour Patch Kid. And what I mean by that is he's really sour on the outside, but he's sweet on the inside, and it tastes so good.
You just like grumpy men.
I do. I like him grumpy because I like to, pull on the strings a little bit, or pull on the layers a little bit and figure out what makes you tick, and,
I remember one time I asked you why you like the grumpy allies, but not the tsunderes, and I remember you told me that you don't want them to, not like you. You want them to not like everyone else.
Yeah, I did say that.
And I think that fits Sasazuka very, very well.
Yes, he's pretty blunt as a character, and I think I really like that. I think he says what's on his mind whenever he thinks it, and he's not afraid to offend people.
He is absolutely not afraid to offend people. In fact, he offends basically everyone.
Yes, except for Yanagi. I think I didn't see him saying much about Yanagi.
No,
he respects him, so he doesn't have much bad to say, but oh my gosh, does he give it to Enomoto. He also gives it to Ichika, too. As part of their relationship dynamic, he, really wants her to improve herself. Get up to speed on her detective skills. He wants her to do her best. And I think part of their relationship dynamic is her really wanting to live up to his expectation. Yeah. And also her wanting to just get to know him and get close to him.
Yeah, and he doesn't make that easy.
He does not make that easy at all.
Yeah, but you know what the best way of getting close to him is?
Bringing him donuts.
As long as they're not matcha flavored.
That's right. He has opinions, guys.
He does not think that matcha should be sweet. He does not think it should be in anything sugary. However, he loves sweets. He loves donuts. That is the way to this man's heart. Bring him sugar.
Yes, I really like him, and I can't say that enough.
Yeah.
I think if you're like me, and you like the grumpy boys, you will probably like Sasazuka.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely the grumpy boy.
Yes, he is. I mean, also, he's really brilliant. He's smart. He's not out there kicking asses and taking names, but...
He's a hacker.
He's a hacker, so what he does behind the scenes is really beneficial to the police force.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Speaking of the police force, the next ally that we went through is actually someone who's still on the police force, unlike the last two that we talked about. Enomoto and Sasazuka are no longer with the police, but Okazaki Kei is not only with the police, but he is part of a special protection unit. So he protects high value people, like politicians. People. Yeah. And the reason why Ichika gets to know him is because he has been assigned to, quote-unquote, protect this detective agency. He's an interesting man.
Yes, he is. The first time Ichika meets him, he comes into the room through a window.
On the, third
floor?
Anyways, he doesn't like doors.
He doesn't like doors, but what he does like is sleeping.
He does like sleep, and he can sleep anywhere.
Literally, he carries what do you call it?
Eye mask.
An eye mask in his pocket because he could fall asleep at any time.
Yeah. He also eats a lot of strangely flavored food.
Mm-hmm. That's one of his personality traits, I guess.
Yeah.
But he does kick ass and take names. He's really good.
He's very good at what he does. Mm-hmm. He's very good at protecting people. He's very good at literally kicking people in the head. His relationship with Ichika is really interesting because the reason why they get to know each other is he basically decides that he wants to protect her and kind of starts following her around.
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, it's just because she has a relationship where she's in cahoots, I guess, with the detective agency. But once he gets an interest in her...
Then they end up spending a lot of time together, and it kind of creates a problem for Ichika because he's not allowed to know that she has the collar on.
Exactly. One of the requirements from Adonis was that she wasn't supposed to tell anyone from the police, and Okazaki is still on the police force.
I actually liked Okazaki's route a lot. I liked Okazaki quite a bit. I thought his backstory was really interesting. I thought that he as an ally was really interesting. I think his relationship with Ichika, at least how he feels towards her, is problematic in a lot of ways at first, and I'm not going to get more into that because it does get a little bit spoilery. But I do like him, and I like the way he ends up dealing with Adonis later on in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of character growth for him, I think. He changes quite a lot from the beginning of her meeting him to kind of the end of the route. And you don't really get that with Takeru or Mineo. There isn't a huge realization that happens. I mean, of course, they find out things through investing the crimes, but Okazaki as a person and his relationship with Ichika evolves.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So if you like kind of strange men who you can't quite figure out and who basically just kind of stalk you all the time, I guess you'll like Okazaki. I could tell you more reasons why I like him, but they would be spoilery, so I'll tell you in the next episode.
Yes. This one's the spoiler-free one, so we'll go into more about Okazaki next time.
Yeah. Speaking of strange men
and people we can't talk very much about right now, is Shiraishi Kageyuki.
Shiraishi.
Yes. I really wanted to like his route, and I did like it. I was expecting more cats, to be honest, and I'm sad that there weren't that many cats.
There were cats.
There were cats.
There were more cats in Shiraishi's route than there were in the other routes.
I agree. There were tons of cats, but I personally wanted more cats.
You always want more cats.
Yeah, I'm a cat person.
You are a cat person. But Shiraishi himself...
Yeah, he's also on the police force still.
And this is something interesting. He's on the police force, but he knows about Ichika's collar.
Yeah. And somehow that's okay.
And we're not going to tell you why. But he's... I don't like him.
Really?
Okay. I know, like, I really liked his route. That's the thing. His route is very plot heavy. You find out a lot. It is super interesting. But he doesn't really know how to interact with people. He sees people as basically like experiments. And so he ends up saying a lot of really rude or mean and very analytical things. He's a profiler.
Yeah, he's a profiler.
Yeah. So he can really like find your weak point and stab it with a smile on his face.
Yeah.
And not very many people like him.
In the game.
In the game.
Yeah. That basically is his personality in a nutshell. He's got a lot of internal demons, I think.
Yeah, and this is another character who has a lot of character growth as his relationship with Ichika moves forward in the game. And by the end, I disliked him less, but he definitely still wasn't my favorite ally. I had a hard time imagining him in, like, a romantic way, just because I didn't like the way that he not only talked to Ichika, but I didn't like the way that he talked to other people in general.
Yeah. I liked him, to be honest. Like, I didn't think I would in the beginning because he was a huge jerk to her. But as the route progressed and as you learn more about his backstory and why he is the way he is. And also, I was really impressed with Ichika. The way she held her own against him was really impressive. Like, she interacted with him in a way that I totally agreed with.
Yeah. No, I agree. Ichika is extremely impressive in this route. She handles him quite well.
Yeah, she does. And I think that's one thing that I really liked about this. But yeah, I guess I agree. I wouldn't call him one of my favorites overall. Like, I don't like him as much as I like Takeru. But I did like him. Yeah.
If you like extremely smart but kind of mean mystery men,
this one's for you.
Yeah. Also the cats.
Also cats.
Yeah.
Cats were an important part of his story. It's fine.
Yeah. But my overall opinion is danger, danger, do not approach.
All right, well, let's talk about someone we really want to approach.
Oh, yeah. I'd approach this man all day long.
So this is the, I guess, main ally of the game.
Yeah, he's the main ally.
You cannot get to his route unless you play everyone else through. So you have to go through the other 4 allies, learn their backstories, learn more about the crimes in order to even unlock his route.
And this is Yanagi Aiji.
Big daddy vibes for Yanagi Aiji.
Big daddy vibes.
Yeah, I love him. He's so great.
Yeah, he's the leader of the detective agency. He is also a former police officer. So he's one of the ones who quit the police force, and he started this detective agency, and he started investigating Adonis on his own, and then kind of collected the other allies like Pokemon. Except for Okazaki. He doesn't like Okazaki. Okazaki's just kind of there.
Yeah.
But
that's a little bit of tension in his roots. There's Okazaki and Yanagi butting heads, which is great comedy. But yeah, I felt bad for Yanagi because he was so annoyed that Okazaki was there for more than half of the route.
Yeah. But he's great. I think he's husband material. The man can cook and he can clean and he's very smart and he is kind and he tries to take care of other people. And his backstory is also great. Like, I thought that his backstory and his reasons for, like, doing what he's doing and also his relationship with Ichika, I thought was some of the best storytelling and writing in an Otome game that I've played in a while.
Yeah.
I think that they did a really, really good job, and his route really does a great job of explaining everything in a way that makes sense. You know how in some games they'll just kind of like throw information at you that you need to know, and you're like,
here's the end of what happened, and it's a summary. Yeah, no, they really weave it into the storytelling. Another thing that I like about his route is the fact that his relationship with Ichika develops over time, and it's a sweet romance.
It is.
Like, I could put myself in her shoes, and from the romance perspective, not the crime perspective, because I'm not a police officer, obviously. We're doing a podcast here. But I could put myself in her shoes and kind of understand why she falls for this person. And their interactions are totally things that I could see myself saying with a partner. Yeah,
exactly. And he's very kind, he's very supportive. He's not like a dick to her. He's actually not a dick to anyone.
No.
Except for Okazaki.
He's pretty level-headed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really reasonable. He's really level-headed. There is one thing I don't like about him, though.
Yeah.
He smokes.
He's a smoker.
I disapprove of the smoking.
They had to give him a flaw.
He can't be too perfect. Yeah. You're right. I agree. Yeah, I think he's pretty great. I don't really know what type I would recommend.
I mean, older, mature, daddy vibes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, definitely get the daddy vibes from him. They actually call him everyone's dad a couple of times.
Yeah, in her route, she's like, oh, you kind of act like a dad. And he's like, oh, I don't feel very comfortable about this.
Yeah, I remember he was like, I am not old enough to have a bunch of 20-something-year-old sons.
Yeah. No, he's great. I really like him. He seems a little bit more down-to-earth and reasonable than the rest of them.
Yeah. So, Vka, overall, who was your favorite ally in this game?
I think I've already said it, and people know by now if they've listened to this episode, but it was definitely Takeru.
Yeah, you like the grumpy boys.
I really do like the grumpy boys. I do. And I liked how Ichika dealt with him, too.
Yeah. What about your favorite route? I mean, the thing about this game is that you can have a favorite character, but the routes are so different. Your favorite route can be completely different.
Yeah, I think overall, my favorite route was probably Yanagi's route. And you'd probably say the same, yeah?
Yeah.
But in terms of interesting and twists and turns, I really like Shiraishi's route.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, there were a lot of twists and turns, a lot of unexpected things that happened. And I was, like, you know, sitting at the edge of my seat trying to figure out what's going to happen next. So that was really fun. That was a really fun experience. What do you think?
Well, my favorite LI... Definitely Yanagi.
Yeah.
I really, really loved him. Some of the other allies I liked. Like, I really liked Okazaki, and I was okay with everyone else except for Shiraishi, but Yanagi I absolutely loved. And it was really interesting because I think I knew even before I did his route that he was going to be my favorite.
He's kind of your type. Just saying. Vki likes the mature, tall, dark, and handsome boys.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fine. And favorite route, I gotta say Yanagi again, just because it does, you know, answer a lot of the questions that I had, and I like having my questions answered.
You like to know the full story.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I agree with that. You have to play through his route to figure out what's happening.
Yeah,
like there's no way around it. So you're gonna learn about the story, and you're gonna learn about why every ally is involved and what way they're involved. But I do agree. Most of my questions were answered with his route because he's the last one.
Yep. So we also have some helpful hints for you guys going through this game because, you know, every Otome game is a little bit different, and we wanted to just let you guys know what we kind of wish we had known beforehand going through this game.
Yeah. One huge thing, and this is pretty standard for all Otome games, is save before you make a decision. That's one. But in this game, there's another aspect to the gameplay called trigger mode. And basically, that's when Ichika needs to shoot her gun at something or someone, and you either have to make the shot, you have to shoot successfully, or you miss.
Yeah, so it's basically a little mini game. The other thing is that it's really important to pay attention to what all the side characters are saying. This is a game that has a lot of side characters in it, like a lot of side characters that have faces and names, and they are important to the story. They will drop hints that will help you figure out, number one, what the heck is going on, but also, if you're not using a walkthrough, they will drop hints that will really help you make those decisions.
Yeah, we, of course, used a walkthrough.
Yes.
We always use walkthroughs.
Yes.
But sometimes I do on my first playthrough, I will go and just do it blind. And that's a really fun experience. But they do. The side characters do say really valuable things that you have to listen to, and it'll come up later on.
And I mean, like we said earlier, the story really does build upon itself. You find out more information the more routes you do. We really do recommend doing it in the order we did it in, which was Enomoto, Sasazuka, Okazaki, Shiraishi, and then Yanagi. And for some of that, you don't have much of a choice, because when you first start the game, both Shiraishi and Yanagi's routes are locked. But the amount of information that you find out in each route really builds on itself really well if you do it in that order.
Yeah. Overall, I would recommend playing this game.
Yeah, I would too.
I really enjoyed it. I truly, truly enjoyed it. And it's a good story.
It is. It's a really interesting story. And like we said, if you like crime novels, you will like this game, because it's basically a crime novel.
Yeah, with cute allies.
With cute allies. So thanks so much, everyone, for listening to the first episode of our first installment of Reviews in Twos. This was the spoiler-free episode of Color Times Malice. Next week, we will be doing a very spoiler-heavy episode of Color Times Malice. So if you enjoyed what you heard today, we have a Buy Me a Coffee account where you can donate to us and support us in continuing to create and host this podcast. This week, we want to say a big thank you to Una Tempest for being one of our supporters. Thank you so much for donating. We really appreciate it.
Yes, the coffee was delicious.
It's not literal coffee, guys.
Well, in addition to Buy Me a Coffee, we also have a Twitter and Instagram where you can stay updated on what we're up to. Thanks again, everyone, for listening to us this week.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye!